Today, I was in an interview and there was something that really touched me, which was the interviewed said, "What do you do sounds like much more than a professional career. It's much deeper than your personal healing. It sounds like a soul calling." And I said, yes, it is. Because when I look at businesses, I see three categories of businesses. And I have two distinct businesses in two different categories. So this is how I see it. I believe that there is a triangle, which is needs, desires, and impact. And I believe the business you have is inside one of these categories. The first category is needs. So there are businesses that serve the basic human survival. Okay, basic human needs. Let's say food, toilet paper, pharmaceuticals, things for medicine, hygiene, infrastructure, hospitals, private clinics. All these businesses serve for human needs. We are sick, we go to the hospital, we need to eat, we buy food, water, all that. These are things that we need to live. And then there is the second category, which is desire. There are things, these are the kind of businesses, for example, my codes atelier, which are things that we don't technically need to survive. They just enrich life. Art, design, fashion, beauty, beauty treatments, beauty clinics, experiences, travel. Nothing of this you need. You desire because it amplifies your energy, right? So this is the category where my brand, my clothing line lives in. It's all about beauty because it's a brand built in exceptional fabrics, refined finishes, aesthetic experiences. There are actually, clothing could be a need, but if you have basic clothing, cheaper materials, basic clothing for sleep, pants, but there are brands, for example, my brand, that they have a different purpose. They have certain details that you don't need to live, are details that you appreciate, are details that make you feel beautiful. However, beauty is not something superficial. Beauty has a frequency, and I truly believe that beauty is one of the expressions of love. When you encounter something that is beautiful, when you are surrounded by beauty, something happens in your heart. Your heart expands. When I am giving classes and I have a beautiful altar, when my house is clean, actually I cannot give any class, I cannot teach, I cannot feel inspired when my house is a mess and when I'm not in a beautiful place, especially because at the heart, in the heart sphere, spiritual sphere in the gene keys, I have the gene key 1, if you're familiar with that, goes from entropy to beauty. And for me, when I'm in a place that is disorganized, when I'm around the place that doesn't have beauty, high quality, I don't feel inspired. I don't feel myself. I feel demotivated. So, in my opinion, beauty serves for your heart to expand. When you wear something exceptional, you feel different. When you wear something that is extremely beautiful, that has this frequency, your heart naturally expands and you feel special. The purpose of having an exclusive piece, the reason why I create the kimono, that is an expensive piece, it is made of silk, has a high finishing, it's one of the highest fabrics, highest quality suppliers that work for haute couture brands that I have found. The purpose of that is when you wear it, you feel like you are wearing a jewel, you are wearing something special. And everything that is special that you wear makes you feel special. People don't buy luxury brands because they need. They buy luxury brands because of the frequency that they carry, which is the frequency to make you special. When a human being feels special, and here is why I believe that my brand is transformational, because I truly believe and I have experience in my body that when a human being feels special, something subtle shifts inside them. Because you will feel more confident. When you feel more confident, you'll naturally feel more radiant. You naturally feel more magnetic. Wherever you go, you will exude a radiance, a glow that maybe with other clothing, when you in a day that you didn't did your skincare, and I don't tell me this doesn't matter. Matter your inside work, but also when you feel great, when you feel beautiful, something shifts and expands in you. So even when you go on a date, why women sometimes make themselves beautiful? It's not just because of the date or the man, but because it makes them feel more sensual, more confident, and that shifts in frequency. When I make myself beautiful for a class, it's not for women to love me. It's because I enter into a frequency of beauty. A frequency of beauty will expand my heart. And this is from where I channel, from where I teach, from where all my wisdom comes. So before I teach a class, I make sure that I am in the frequency. I make sure that I feel great. If I'm gonna speak about the heart, if I want to deliver something beautiful, if I want to make women confident, I must be the one in the frequency first, because I am the conductor. I am doing a transmission, and so it must come from me first. If I'm not in the frequency, I cannot create the energy field, and no one is going to feel it. This is why when you enter into a place and somebody sells you something and then you feel that something off, it's because maybe the place or the person or any part of the experience is not coherent with the frequency. And so when you feel in this way, you show up in the world with more presence. When you are in this state, a breakthrough can happen. A new idea. When you feel confident, when you feel, for example, when I see beauty around, as I said before, I feel inspired. So new ideas come. And from new ideas, an action follows. A new possibility, another vision. And this is why I think following desire has a transformational dimension. And this is why I believe that my brand, when people wear my brand, they don't feel, they don't say to me, I feel beautiful. They say, I feel activated. Is a common feedback I receive from my brand. And that's the purpose of it. Every fabric, every color intends to awaken a code in you. This is why the brand is called The Codes, because every piece must have certain codes, must be embodied in the frequency, the name must be coherent, the color must be coherent with the intention, with the design. Everything has a sequence and a sense. And this is what I believe at how fashion should be made. On top of that, I have an academy, and everything that you purchase in some months is maybe, I don't know when you are listening to this podcast, but at the moment, for example, if you purchase like a code from the atelier, you can use that credit towards my academy. And so not only you receive a piece that is fully designed with an intention, as also you receive a transformational program. And here is where it goes. I have talents and gifts, and I have a soul calling. For a certain period of my life, I lived in a big dilemma. because I'm naturally talented in arts. I am an exceptional painter. I studied in art school. Then I studied interior design. After the interior design, I finished my bachelor and I went to study fashion design. After fashion design bachelor, I did master degree fashion design. I worked for some years, and after I quit to create my academy full time of personal development because I'm deeply passionate about this work. Not saying that fashion is not what I love. I do love it. I do love art. I do love design. It's a part of my soul. But I also feel that my soul has a calling for helping humanity. And so my second business is the academy, which I consider in the impact sector. Because I remember there is needs, desire, and impact. And this is the field of human evolution. This is my biggest soul calling. Although I have gifts and talents around design and art, I also have a deeper calling on human evolution, on personal development, on awakening consciousness in the planet, on helping humanity to have better quality of life, to be more connected with their hearts, to have better relationship, be better leaders, become better humans, become women with more empathy, men with more empathy. I really want to help humans become exceptional. And so that I found a way to do it through design. But what is truly relevant? What truly awakens consciousness? What truly has an impact on a deeper level is my academy and the work I do, which is mainly focused in that mission of helping humanity. I also believe that personal development should be the core of every businesses, because in the end of the day, who is leading the world, creating businesses, everything, are humans. And the better we become, the better we develop this body of work, the machine we live in, the better we train our minds, the better leaders we have in the planet. The better will be the environment in companies, the better will be the environment in at home, with children, with partners, with friends. In the end of the day, all problems happen between humans' relationships. All the systems we live in, businesses, politics, culture, they are all shaped by human consciousness. The most of the suffering we experience in life actually comes from relationships. So when people develop more consciousness about themselves, when they develop deeper awareness, better values, deeper emotional intelligence, I truly believe the world becomes a better place. So this is the reason why when people ask me where the idea of the Codes Atelier coming from, to be honest, comes from the Codes Academy. When people ask me, will you ever leave the Codes Academy for the Codes Atelier? I say, never, because the Codes Academy, it's what built the foundation of the Codes Atelier. Actually was in a meditation, was during a profound identity work on myself that I realized and received the message that I would be back in fashion, but creating in a different structure, in a different paradigm, in a structure, in a system that enhances female potentiality, which is something that we don't see in the fashion industry. But I needed to become this person. I needed to understand what means to be in a female body. I needed to understand what does it mean to wear something that makes me feel like a woman, and what does it mean to wear something that activates different levels, qualities of emotions inside of me. So one value that I have been building and understanding about myself that I do really appreciate and I practice in my life is entrepreneurship. And I really want to see female entrepreneurship led from a feminine place, from a feminine energy, for women deeply connected with themselves, women leading from being women and not leading from being men. There's a big confusion around what does it mean, female empowerment and feminism. Female empowerment is also associated with embodiment because power is something that comes from the body. Female power comes from the body, from your how connected you are with the body, from how much you can feel from the body, from you believing in yourself, from the confidence you exude, from the magnetism you have to attract opportunities, people, all that you need for your highest destiny. And respecting your body, not compromising yourself. That is female empowerment. Being able to rise as a woman instead of rising looking like a man and trying to steal men's place, acting like men, being in your masculine energy, which normally tends to burn out. Women who are in burnout most likely have lost their connection with their femininity and connection with their true passion, because I also do believe when you are connected with your passion and when you have a clear action towards your mission, all the forces of nature recharge you every second. I'm a proof of that. Otherwise, I couldn't be doing the amount of work and the amount of businesses actually I'm doing. And I started all this alone. Sometimes I have this extreme amount of energy. People ask me, where is this coming from? And I do know, because I have worked before for jobs or have had actions and people that were misaligned, and I feel drained, I feel burnout. When you feel you are entering a burnout, you have lost the sense of connection with yourself. You most likely are off center, you are misaligned. And so for me, the calling for anything you do in life, any kind of business, the key core is the consciousness, from which place you do it. For me, helping people understanding themselves is the big mission of my life. Helping people build better relationships, better leadership, deeper awareness. Because when humans evolve, the world evolves. And any business you create evolves. Leaders become better leaders. And for me, this is the real mission and what drives me into the world. However, the reason why I'm doing this podcast is because there is a shadow that is coming to the surface that is coming to my awareness, and I believe it needs to be highlighted, spoken about for the awareness of everyone in this planet, especially as we are observing wars, leaders against leaders, naturally catastrophes, the planet screaming. This is impacting us as humans because the energy we live in impacts our body, impacts our energy. The macro impacts the micro. And for me, this is urgent that we look at. This profession, especially coaching, is a profession that has become very attractive to people. The problem is not always for the good reasons. It has been masked as a profession to help others, to be a better leader, to help people have better lives. But at the same time, as we observe the world, as we really do see it clearly, many people enter in this space because they want a stage to shine. This is a business where people can create their own stage. They create their own rules. Many people want to create their own way of work, their own timetable, their own schedule. And this has become a very attractive profession, sometimes not for the good reasons. Many people become mentors without actually the skills for that. They just want a place to be heard. Many people become speakers because they want to be seen by thousands of people. And this is exactly where the distortion begins. It's okay to have big visions. The problem is where those visions are coming from. Are they coming from a true place? From a place of reality? Or are they coming from a place of wound? And this is where the distortion begins. Because this work carries responsibility. It's the work that requires you to become so aware of humans. Because we will deal with human lives. It's very easy to enter in a distorted place here. You are stepping into a role that has a position of influence, a position of authority. You are speaking into people's lives, into their emotions, into the way that they see themselves in the world. And this makes it a very delicate place to stand. There is also why this career has become so attractive. Because when you step into this world, the stage comes with it. And that can be extremely seductive. There are a few things that are very important to understand. A person who wants to guide others must first do inner work. Inner work, inner child work, shadow work. Because if someone is still searching for validation, their teaching will obviously become a way to validate themselves. And this is what I have been observing in the coaching industry. People, without doing the process, wanting to collapse time, do quantum leaps, crazy next level manifestation, because in the end of the day, what they are looking for is a profound spiritual bypass, which means you want to bypass the process and the lessons and the teachings to master certain skills to become the person that you see in your visions. Because those lessons, those teachings, they are hard. They will probably collapse your life. They will probably remove people from your life. They will remove situations, environments, relationships that you are attached to. So when you want to step into being a mentor, the question you have to ask yourself is, where am I creating and wanting and desiring this from? From a place of truth or from a place of wounding? And I'm just deeply searching for validation. Because unless you have worked with your inner child, there will be layers of validation hidden in the process of creation. And a few obvious red flags are all types of content, marketing, messages, emails that in the end, they don't feel that they're about the client. It looks like it's a bit about themselves. Their content will slowly revolve around their own story. Their classes are all about their story, are all about themselves. Their events, their practices are all about validating their own beliefs. Their experiences will become the center of everything. Their deepest desire will not be transformation, it will be admiration or self admiration. These are these kind of coaches that want secretly and have visions of wanting millions of followers obsessed with them. Clients who start to depend on them. Now you have to heal this. As soon as you end the program, there is something else that they really need. Otherwise, they will not evolve, or otherwise they will stuck forever, or they will or they enter now, or they will be watching and be behind for the rest of their lives. This kind of energy of codependency. And I feel to bring awareness here because unfortunately, as this kind of business is still not validated by universities, it's also not controlled. And there is not a supervision of who is actually qualified, which makes this business quite very blurry for the majority of people. The desire in this work, actually the motivation a mentor should have, is not about being adored, should be about impact, should be about creating something that genuinely helps people grow. For example, in my work, I have no desire for people to be obsessed with my brand. I have no desire for people to be attached to me. I have no desire for clients to stay in my programs for the rest of their lives. And I truly hope, and I say this from lesson 1, this is a program to be self-led, which means you are capable to lead yourself. I give you the tools, I give you the awareness, I name the shadows for you to be able to have your own insights, your own breakthroughs, and feel you are doing the work. I don't believe in healers. I don't believe there is any external person that can do better for my life than myself. I don't believe that someone knows better what's for me than myself when I'm connected with myself and celebrate. So the real purpose of what I do is to really help people to know how to solve the problems of their own life, to have the tools to think from their minds, to move with aligned action, to learn how to listen to their bodies, to learn how to listen to their intuition, to be able to identify what is fear and what is truth, because it's very hard to define it. People with wounds, giving you an example, people with wounds will have a hard time identify when is fear, when is intuition. Because when you have the survival wound, let's say, you don't feel safe, and universe brings you a challenge or puts you in a place where you don't feel safe because you have in your body a survival imprint and you are living in survival, even if you are in a place or you are being offered a job that is actually aligned for you, if you are in survival, if you have fears, if you have failed in the past and you haven't done the work to understand, overcome it, overcome the wound of rejection, overcome how the wound of failure and deal with it and learn that that is actually a blessing, next time that universe brings to you a challenge, you will feel fear, your body will say, no, don't go on that way. No, 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 no. Instead, if you have learned how to feel safe in your body, how to hold fear, then you will be able to listen to your soul. Because sometimes you feel fear and you feel, okay, I feel fear, my body is shaking, I'm frozen, so I'm not taking this decision. Instead, your soul say, you are having a trauma, wound, imprint in your body. However, this is a line for you. And to be honest, the only way to have your intuition more clearly is actually to heal your wounds. Because until that, it will always be a little blurry and confused for you. So, I never want to become the center of someone's transformation. Because the purpose of my work is to make the person understand that they can lead themselves, they can think for themselves, they can trust themselves. People enter into my work and they feel immediately confident. Why? Because they start to do the activations, they start to regulate their nervous systems, they start to identify what is blocking them, they are doing the work, so they know they have the power to hold next level challenges. They have the power to hold what universe has next for them. And they feel held. When you feel held, you feel safe. But not because I'm healing them, because I'm offering a space where they can do the work and have the guidance, follow the guidance inside themselves. I offer the tools, they transform their own lives. I like to have feedbacks of people who say this work changed my life, not Ines changed my life. There's a big difference. I don't have an ambition of saying Ines is the center, Ines is everything. No, this work, those tools, this energy field has helped me profoundly, has helped me lead myself. So whenever I sense someone becoming actually too attached or placing me on a pedestal, I cut them off. And my friends are tend to call me the bad girl, because I actually am very clear with my clients. But when I sense that there is this idolatration, that they see me as something on top of them, I immediately cut them off, because the energy will start to be a bit off, will start to look like something attached, will like to look like something that I'm far away from them. I'm on a pedestal. And the pedestal creates a separation. So actually, when I have people that start in this dynamic, I cut them off, because the purpose is we are all leaders and we are walking in this path, we are evolving all together. I'm just sharing the tools. I don't think that dependency is good. And I believe that these containers that create dependency are not fostering. And whoever, a mentor, a guru, who fosters this kind of relationship, inside they have a profound inner child wound of validation, of wanting to be seen, of wanting a stage to shine, because they never felt that they could shine in their house, in their families. This is a disease in the spiritual world that we see. So when we see that a person is doing content because they want likes, because they want comments, they start to delete things because it's not going viral, it's a big red flag out there. If we start to see people who come learn how to make everyone crazy, I think there is a big red flag out there, because that's not from where you should create anything that impacts people's lives, that is moving with people's emotions. Anything that is we as mentors, especially in the world we are living today, we have a big responsibility. Being a person with this level of influence, who is taking stages, who is speaking from thousands of people, will change people's minds anyway. So from where we create is extremely important. Who we are is extremely important. The frequency we emit is extremely important. We must do the inner work to make sure that we are moving from a very clean space. The focus should never be on the teacher. It should always be the transformation. It should always be how it lands. What is the intention of what you are creating? How it will transform the other. When you step into a role of authority, it becomes very easy to influence people's thinking. And some people are still working with their boundaries. Some people are still finding their way in this world. Some people are in very vulnerable states. As the mentor is evolving, the client is also evolving. Women are still dealing and learning how to put boundaries. Is a big topic still. Many people have suffered some kind of abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse. People who are disconnected from themselves are easier to manipulate. Some people who feel extremely depressed will cling into any kind of aspirational quote without having awareness where it truly comes from. Some people are in very profound processes. So, in the world we are living, in the confusion we have in the world, it's very easy to manipulate someone's perception. The role here requires integrity more than ever, because influence without consciousness can become a powerful manipulation. But influence guided by truth can become a powerful transformation.